world. So thank you very much again, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Mr. Thierry de Montreal, President of IFRI, distinguished members of this institute, distinguished audience. It is a pleasure for me to join such a distinguished gathering this morning to discuss an issue of interest and importance to us all. The nature of the new order that will be created from our fast changing global reality. It is perhaps a coincidence, but nonetheless pertinent, that we should be discussing this subject only one day after the 10th anniversary of an event of far-reaching consequences, both geographically and politically, that spurred the fight against international terrorism and significantly changed some of the norms of international relations. But the changes brought about by 9/11 are just a part of the uncertainty in the global political economic environment over the last 20 years or so. This period has seen the rise of emerging and developing markets that have fundamentally changed the complexion of global trade relations, particularly in Africa. While the core group of these new global economic players is centered on the economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, commonly known as the BRICS, the process is much more widespread, reaching out to Africa. This trend is also accompanied by the relative decline of the G8 countries' economic supremacy and the rising influence of the G20, whose formation illustrates how economic development is now spread across continents and cultures. Certainly, for us in Africa and Rwanda in particular, is what role we should play in contributing to shape this new order and ensuring that we Africans are well integrated in it. I think the answer to this question is that Africa, the West, and other partners must recognize and accept that times have changed. Africa, including Rwanda, is quite different from even just a decade or two ago. Today's challenges dictate different approaches, including a readiness to adapt and adjust to new circumstances. Our relations and respective roles should therefore reflect this reality. It is becoming clear that African countries are poised to play a more strategic role in reshaping and stabilizing the international landscape. This presents us with both challenges, but more importantly, opportunities. An opportunity to develop more diplomatic, political, and trade relations with African states, which, of course, with the corresponding challenge of redefining past and current approaches to foreign policy. In Africa's case, economic performance in the last decade gives the continent a unique opportunity to claim a more active role and a stronger bargaining position in the global arena. The continent's real GDP rose 409% every year from 2000 through 2008, more than twice its pace in the 1980s and the 90s. Africa's collective GDP at 1.6 trillion US dollars in 2008 now matches some of the big BRICS economies like Brazil and Russia, and the continent is among the world's most rapidly growing economic regions. But equally crucial for a mutual beneficial relationship between Europe and Africa, it is vital that the developed world begin to understand the different contexts within which African countries operate and respect the choices and will of the people. Systems of governance are built on the cumulative experience and circumstances of a nation and reflect what is generally accepted as good and workable for a particular people. In Rwanda, for instance, we have built modern institutions based on Rwandan traditional values, and they work for us. We devise our own strategies to answer our specific needs and accomplish what we want. For instance, performance contracts entered into between government and the people ensure delivery of services and promote accountability. Rwandans have a democracy that is responsive to the choices of our people and the fruits of which are measured at the grassroots level. Those that we work with, I think, will be able to acknowledge this. It is most helpful when initiatives that are centered on people and owned by the people themselves